everyone, it's me, Bren, living and growing in Zone 5B, Ohio. And I'm super excited on this video to share with you that my friend Sarah Gardner, all the way over in New Zealand, nominated me for the Allotment Challenge. So I printed up the questions that are part of this fun video sharing event, and I'm surrounded by some of my favorite flowers in December. Okay, so let me use my cheat sheet. There are 10 questions that if you're in the Allotment Challenge that you're asked to answer. And the first question is, how long have you had your allotment? Well, my allotment, or my garden, I've been out here in Ohio, in the country in Ohio, for about, wow, this spring it will be 13 years. So it's very exciting. I grow on, well, we have about 16 acres here, but I'm not that much of a superwoman. I don't garden all of that. We do maintain it. 11 acres of it is woods. And so that's really fun because it has the river that goes through it. And it's just really cool to see all of the wildlife and the things that grow naturally out there. So let's see, question number 2. How long did you have to wait for your allotment? Well, when I was younger and I didn't have a space to grow, I never really thought about growing so much on my own. Like when I was in college, moved outside of my parents' home, and I had an apartment. I always had some type of houseplant or something growing. No herbs or anything. I guess they were mostly houseplant. I'm thinking my spider plants, and I had a couple of succulents, but I really didn't know what they were back then. So yeah, so I really didn't have to wait. I just grow. So let's see. Question number 3. Where did you learn about gardening? Well, fortunately, my family has always gardened, so I've always been around some type of gardening, right? So my father, when I was young in the 70s, he had lots of house plants, and I always remember our small backyard had geraniums and maybe a couple tomatoes in containers, but I really liked the geraniums my mom grew. And I remember every year when school started, we always took a picture out front on the sidewalk before we went to school in front of my mom's beautiful rose bushes and a Rose of Sharon that she had grown out there. And then I also have fond memories of as a child going to my uncle's home and farm, where he has a large farm, and he grew cucumbers and tomatoes, and it was fun to be able to pick those and put them in bushels and bring them home, and we would can them up. As an adult, over the past roughly 13 years since I've lived out here in the country, I've learned a lot about gardening. Most of my gardening here from being online, very active on social media and Twitter, and a little on Facebook, things like that, and just being able to communicate with fellow gardeners around the world. And many of the things I grow today, I wouldn't have had if it weren't for my connection through social media. Question 4. Do you plant a winter garden? Actually, I do. For the past, well, it started back in 2008, late 2008, when I had my first greenhouse. Because when I'm in winter here in Ohio, everything dies. I'm in Zone 5B, so all the plants go to sleep. You can't really grow anything outside in that garden zone. So I always enjoyed growing things in my home in containers, like bringing favorite plants in. And then lucky enough to get a greenhouse way back, like I said, in 2008, where I was able to winter over maybe many of my favorite tropical hibiscus, and I have citrus plants that would not make it outdoors. This year is my first year growing in a larger area. I have a 20-foot geodesic biodome, and I've planted lots of fun winter crops in here, such as I've got lots of different lettuces and radishes and kale, and I can't forget my flowers because I love flowers. So I have pansies and I have geraniums that I'm wintering over in here, and you can grow year round. Anyone can. Question number 5. What has been your biggest success this year and ever? Boy, that's a tough one. Um, I would say probably my biggest success ever was growing year round in Ohio, hardiness zone 5B. Just having my little conventional greenhouse, it was quite a challenge. I kind of went into it thinking, well, we'll give it a try. If it lives, it lives. If not, oh well, we tried, right? And even that first year when I had no idea what I was doing, and I mostly relied on fellow gardeners online who had greenhouses, it was a success. Even the night when the power went off and everything dropped below freezing for a few hours, just to see what plants were hardy enough, and they survived that. And actually everything survived that for the most part. Things got a little weepy, but it was just really a cool experience. So I would say my biggest success is growing year round in Ohio. Okay, so question number 6. What's been your biggest gardening disaster? Wow. Well, one thing that just came to mind in the dome, I mean, it hasn't been a complete disaster, but I actually added some cocoa mulch too, because I just like the texture and the smell of it. And I added it to a few of the containers in here, and I came in I didn't come out here yesterday because we didn't have a lot of sun, and I just knew everything would be fine. But then I came out today and I found mold growing, or bacteria growing in that cocoa mulch. So to me, that's the first thing that comes to mind. That's kind of a disaster, but I'm not worried about it. I can pull the mulch out, and I'm sure someone will share with me what I can do about that mold. And anyhow. Okay, so number 7, we're moving right along here. Do you have a tried and true crop variety that you always grow? Yes, I love tomatoes and I love peppers. So I always grow lots of tomatoes. I have pretty heirlooms. I have some really awesome container hybrid tomatoes I grow, and they're great just to pick them and just eat them as is, or including them in pasta dishes and different sauces and drinks and all kinds of things. I'm a big tomato person. Here. Number 8. Are you planning on trying anything new next year? In 2016, which is only like 15 days away. Yes, I am. I'm very excited. Every year I love trying new plants, new vegetables, new roses. And one thing I want to note is if you are active online, you can find out firsthand what will be new for this year. I know specifically like on Garden Chat, which if you follow hashtag Garden Chat on Twitter and Facebook or Google, just punch that hashtag in. You'll see we have some special events coming up in the next few Mondays featuring what is new for 2016, and that would be trees and shrubs and vegetables and annuals and flowers, all that kind of stuff. So yes, how exciting. Grow more, grow new things. Number 9, how do you preserve your crops? Well, I do a lot of seed saving. If there's certain things, different heirlooms that I really enjoyed, I try to save, like specifically tomatoes. I have a couple of peppers that are heirloom that I like to keep a hold of, and that's kind of preserving, right? Because you keep the seed and you can grow it again. And I'm really big in, I love dehydrating, like using a dehydrator and preserving not only what I grow, but special things that I find from the farmer's market locally that they won't have year round, and I can use a dehydrator and save those things, like different berries. And actually even I did some tomatoes this year and lots of peppers in the dehydrator. I'm also really big on canning. I've been canning since I was, wow, I think maybe 5 or 6. I can remember helping peel tomatoes to can up sauces and things. And I've pretty much continued that tradition. And I love doing jams. So I preserve a lot of the strawberries that I grow here, raspberries, and we even have some wild blackberries that grow in our woods that I've made jam out of by canning. Or you can freeze them if you don't have time right away to can them. And also mulberries. We actually did a few batches of like a mulberry jam this year, and those are all from our trees that grow here in Ohio. Okay, and number 10, what's your favorite meal to cook with veggies from your plot? Oh, I was just talking about this the other day. So how much I miss the summertime out in my gardens outside, outside of the dome. Just to go out in the big vegetable garden, my 40 by 60, I have many different heirlooms and hybrids I grow over there, and to pick just tomatoes right off the vine and zucchini and onions, mostly like the onions and that I have in my raised beds around my conventional greenhouse. And just to take those and just take it fresh, cut it up, grab some herbs like oregano and basil, and I love different Italian mixes like that, and then add my favorite pasta to it. I really miss the tomatoes and the onions and those yummy sauces we made. So thank goodness for preserving. I kind of open a can that I saved, but nothing beats it fresh. I'm kind of anxious in the dome here. I have lots of broccoli that needs harvest this week, and I hope to bring that in, and we'll just have that like in veggie trays and things for celebrating Christmas. Yeah, so let's see. Well, I'm out of questions, but I do know that part of the allotment challenge is I get to nominate a couple of my favorite gardeners that I enjoy following. Now, it's really hard to pick a favorite because there are so many great people online who share daily from their gardens around the world. And, I just love them all, and it's fun to be able to communicate with them and grow with them on social media. But today I am going to pick my buddy, Scott of GottaGrowIt.com. He is like my mentor when it comes to gardening. He's got the most beautiful gardens in the summertime, and I just love how excited he is about gardening. If you ever watch Scott's YouTube videos and things he shares on Twitter, he's just so excited about even just a simple pepper. He's just ecstatic, and you can just feel that energy and that true passion for gardening. So I'm gonna nominate Scott of Gotta Grow It, and he's also growing in a tunnel in one of his allotments, and I'll let him share with you all about that. And then another person I would like to nominate is my other buddy, Clint of Harvest Pathway. And I hope you'll stop over at his website. He's harvestpathway.com. Him and his adorable family are enjoying life in a geodesic biodome like mine, only his is 38 feet. Mine's 20, but his is 38 feet. They have the cutest little children, baby, just adorable family, and he's put together sandboxes in there and the gardens all around that his wife will be working in the garden, and the kids are enjoying the sandbox and gardening too. I've heard his son enjoys planting his own little seeds in a little area in this dome, and so he's a really exciting person to learn from. So those are the two that I'm going to nominate for this challenge, and they're both up in New Hampshire, United States. So hopefully they'll join in the fun, and thank you so much, Sarah Gardner, for nominating me. A big shout out to her. I am having so much fun learning from Sarah. She is just the sweetest gardener. Everything she shares online is inspiring, and she grows the most beautiful vegetables, and I really enjoy, with it being winter in Ohio, being able to watch her summer growing in New Zealand, because we're flip-flop there. And it's just exciting, and I get great ideas watching from what she's growing that now I could try outside in my garden when it comes spring and summer. So there we are. Thank you for joining me on this allotment challenge, and I can't wait to meet all of you. So please leave a comment below, and I'd really love it if you subscribe to my channel from my geodesic biodome, neat gardening tips and things and all that fun stuff. So thanks again,